I said
one second, Shamshamish, I'll come to you. I'll come to you.
Okay, yeah.
Brinda Dighe, when we say that there were 200 court dates, but he only appeared for 40, how do you expect a person who's in Bangalore, who's holding a job, who is also in the process expected to pay some sort of maintenance or alimony? He was paying Atul Subhash 40,000 rupees towards his wife and their son. How do you expect that person to travel to Jaunpur? Because the judge will keep inserting a date after date after date. This is a conversation that one should also have about the judicial system and the level of lawyers that we have in our country today. The lawyers who will tell the victim, the lawyer will tell the victim. There's a divorce case. Brinda Dighe, there will be a divorce case that comes up. The lawyer will be the first one to recommend to the girl and her family, आप domestic violence का केस क्यों नहीं लगा देते, आप dowry harassment का केस क्यों नहीं लगा देते, आपका केस और पक्का हो जाएगा कोर्ट में. And let's not turn a blind eye to what's happening in the judicial system and the legal circles also, no?
Absolutely. So let us now start with the judicial system and the judicial officers. Now we know for sure that the judges are not all trained to address all the cases of this nature that comes up there. We know the kind of judges that are sitting in the family courts. With due respect to all of them, and with all the excuses that they may give of vacancies that are there and vacancies not getting filled, all of that is the government's job. Don't place that burden on us, the women or the citizens. We pay our taxes. So your job is to ensure that vacancies are filled up and your judges are trained. And like you pointed out, 200 date hearings and he attended only 40. What were his lawyers doing? This is digital India. We also go to court.
He had made an application for.
I did not.
Deepika, I'll come to you next. Deepika, I will come to you next.
Let me finish. So in this digital India, there has to be an application, and I have filed to say he cannot be running and coming from Bangalore every second, third week. Let us do this on virtual. And the courts are supposed to have been equipped themselves since COVID. Almost most courts across India, including sessions courts, have this kind of a facility. So if that facility is not in that court, I think it is time to pull up that principal magistrate to find out what has happened. Why haven't you equipped your court with these facilities? Because you cannot expect anybody. We are not talking whether they are right or wrong, but you have issued a summons, and if they cannot be coming every 3 weeks, which is unfair, which is wrong, which is unacceptable, inconvenient, it has to be done via a virtual facility. Now, why it was not done via the virtual facility is another debate altogether. But this part of it, we are not holding the judiciary responsible. We are not holding the judiciary responsible, for their insensitivity, for their unprofessionalism, for the corruption that is lurking at every bench and corner, for the connivance that might be happening with the probably other judicial officers, maybe the police also, maybe the prosecution also. So we need to be able to have those discussions. How many of these cases actually come for reviews? Are these reviews on public domain? Because if they are on public domain, then there is accountability that can be pinned, but it is not there. There is no reviews of these cases. So when you look at all of these issues, we need to tell over there, do not place the blame for less than 5% of misuse on women. The laws for the protection of women is not charity. It has come after a long battle by women across India. And not simply demonstrations and rallies. It has come through documentation, through PILs, where the judicial officers have gone through these papers, where people have read through these cases. A lot of debate has gone into it. So let us not even go to that area of misuse. The minute you say misuse, we want the entire circle of people to be held responsible, not just the woman. If the lawyers are saying, why don't you put domestic violence over there, tell me a family or a case that there is no domestic violence as per the DV Act. Isn't there emotional blackmail or emotional violence and abuse? Is not there psychological violence and abuse? Is not there some kind of verbal abuse? Sometimes probably physical abuse? All of this is there. Every woman is not coming around and making those cases. So when the lawyer says maybe we should add this, is because the judges over there, largely patriarchal mindsets, both men and women, look at it to say, oh, so you were married only 6 months, so you are not beaten. Actually, not beaten. What is the emotional turmoil that you have been put through? Isn't that cruelty? What is the psychological turmoil you were put through? What is the verbal turmoil you were put through? All of that is cruelty. So probably lawyers in that area think that, okay, if I put in a basket of all this, then only the judge is looking at it. So why are we not holding judges accountable? Why are we not telling the judges, look at the letter and the spirit of law and say, okay, if it was only emotional, this is how I will interpret it. If it was psychological, this is how I'm interpreting it. Because that discretionary power is absolutely with the judges. And nobody else can interpret. Only the judge can interpret.